On this, Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney. She's chairwoman of the House Republican Conference, and it's good to have you here.
Thanks, Dan.
So the year started with the shutdown, and the State of the Union, for me, always marks the chance to sort of reset the agenda. It's about a month late. I'm sorry, about a couple of weeks late. How do you think the president can do that tonight? I mean, he's got a little bit of wind at his back with the economy the way it is.
I think he has a lot of wind at his back, and I was really pleased to see that he decided to wait, decided to do this State of the Union the way they should be done. I think, as you know, it's a very special moment in the chamber, and I think it really does give the president an opportunity to talk about both what we've accomplished so far in terms of economic growth, in terms of increased security for the nation, and also what needs to be done going forward. I think you'll definitely see him talk about the importance of a wall, the importance of stopping illegal immigration, and I think you'll also see him, reach out and make clear one more time that he really does want to work across party lines, wants to put together some ways we can work in a bipartisan fashion.
The White House has said that he wants to talk about unity and bipartisan support, and one of the lines that they will use is they will say, we've already proven that we can work in a bipartisan fashion. You think he'll point to things like the criminal justice reform bill?
I think so, and I think if you watch what has happened throughout the entire period that we've been having this debate about the shutdown, the president time and time again reached out to the Democrats, to the leadership, to the rank and file on the Democratic side to say, come to the table. Here's what I propose. What would you like to do? Give me your response. And again and again and again, we saw Speaker Pelosi refuse to negotiate. And so I think, he'll make clear he really does want to be reasonable.
So we were saying during Peter Ducey, his report that you have Elizabeth Warren there, and you have to fact check me on this, but I would imagine that we're probably going to make history tonight where you have more Democratic candidates running against the president giving the State of the Union than ever in the history.
Yeah,
I mean, like the 2 on the House side, 5 on the Senate side so far, the ones that have announced.
Right. Well, and you probably have their candidate slate is probably far more left-wing than it maybe ever has been in history when you take them all together. But I think they're indicative of really the socialist tendencies that we're seeing, and that's a real difference and a real distinction.
Do you take that seriously, that you have in these polls that Americans, especially younger Americans, saying that they like the ideas of socialism?
I think it's very serious, and I think you see it among many of the new members that have been elected on the Democratic side. They don't understand that free markets are actually the most moral and most successful economic system that's ever been created. But you also see it among their presidential candidates, and they try to cover it up by saying we want to give power to the people. But what we know is that those policies would strip power from the people and give it to the governments.
You tweeted on Friday, this week Dems tried to remove God from witness oaths, advocated killing babies after they're born, voted to give sexual predators a taxpayer-funded pay raise, and attempted to give federal government massive power over all Americans' free speech. And that was all before Friday. So you've taken over the conference. What other changes have you made in terms of figuring out a way to help Republicans get on a better footing when it comes to messaging to the people?
Well, it's a very different task when we're in the minority, as we are, of course. And one of the things we really have to do is make sure that we're holding the Democrats accountable, that we're laying out for the American people the very radical nature of their agenda. And you saw it in what I summarized in terms of what they tried to do last week. You're going to see it this week. They're going to unveil this Green New Deal. You're going to see them move more in terms of in the direction of gun control. You're going to see them move more in the direction of limiting America's free speech. That'll be a common theme you see, and we're going to make sure the American people understand how radical
One thing I know that you're well aware of, but it does come up again and again, and we will see it tonight. There are fewer Republican women in Congress now than there were even 2 years ago or 4 years ago. In this Congress, I think there are more than 23. Let's see, we have it here. So 127 women before, 104 now. It was 21 or 28. Now it's 21. So you are a Republican woman. You are representing the great state of Wyoming. Are you concerned about messaging to women in particular?
Yeah, I think we've got an important job to do. We have to convince more Republican women to run for office, and we also have to attract more Republican women or more women across the board to vote for Republicans. And I think we do that really by being very clear about what we stand for, the fact that we stand for opportunity for everybody. We don't believe that you should be taking people's money, taking people's opportunity, taking their power away, investing it in the federal government. And that is really what the Democrat agenda is, to give Washington, D.C. control over every aspect of people's lives.
And how do you help recruit other Republican women to run?
Well, there are a number of things we're doing, both through the National Republican Campaign Committee as well as through independent groups like one that my great colleague Elise Stefanik has started to help encourage women to reach out to women, to encourage them that they can do this, to help make sure that resources are available, that training is available, and really just to get out around the country talking to women to say, you know what, take the leap. You ought to do it, and you can.
Because you ended up enjoying the campaigning.
I did.
Right?
That's right. I mean, I may be a little bit odd, but I do. I like it very much.
You're a lot odd, and that's why we love
Dana.
you, and that's why we have you here. Thank you, Congresswoman Liz Cheney.
Thank you.